Oh, come on! This is huge, fellas! Don't spoil the party! Come on, dance! Dance! Hallelujah! 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 Just roll with it, man! Just roll! Hallelujah! お前はもう死んでいる。
It's pretty hilarious that Like a Dragon Sims believes Sega and RGG are somehow immune to modern day woke ideologies. The amount of denial and damage control from them is why companies like Sega and RGG can embrace localizers and modern day sensibilities with little fear of backlash. But we all know how they would respond to pushback from fans with a backbone. I think the issue for many Like a Dragon fans is that they think because it's a series by an Eastern studio that it will always remain true to their Japanese roots and not look to cater to the modern day audience in any way, even though there are studios like Capcom and Square Enix that have been doing just that. It's like they start saying things without engaging their brain. After discovering the image of Sega's initiative to promote diversity, I was curious about Sega Sammy, so I went on the site and found a few things that should be alarming to people who are not Like a Dragon Sims. But I'm curious to see how the Sims try to move the goalposts after seeing these images. Are you guys going to say what you're seeing right now is the non-issue, or that all of this has no effect whatsoever on any of Sega's games? You really think RGG is unaware of this, or that they are not embracing it? If so, then you clearly didn't see any of Yokoyama's posts defending Sega after they received backlash from the link they posted on X confirming localizers censor their games. As you can see by the images shown, Masayoshi Yokoyama openly defends localizers and works closely with them along with the rest of RGG in order to ensure that things in their games are acceptable. Add in the fact that Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth was clearly trying to reach a wider audience just through its marketing alone. This all seems to contradict what original creator of the Yakuza series and RGG studio, Toshihiro Nagashi, had stated when he was at the company, where he felt appealing to the West would take away the appeal, and that's something I agree with. You see, it's one thing to grow a once niche series into a more recognizable series, all while retaining what made it stand apart from its contemporaries. But it's another thing to do so while looking to get away from what drew people in and tried to bring in a new audience at the expense of the distinct Japanese culture and Yakuza themes. You don't have to be a hardcore fan to see the writing on the walls. This is something even a casual Yakuza fan can point out. Furthermore, trying to be an elitist for this series is pretty lame. But here's my trophy list of Yakuza games to shut you dumbasses up that claimed in my previous video I'm not a real fan who can't speak on this matter. I should point out that I'm aware Yokoyama was a writer for the past Yakuza games. I'm fully aware he did not magically appear once Nagashi left. However, putting Yokoyama's impressive resume behind, there's something a lot of people fail to think about as years go by, people growing older, and companies expanding. And that thing is influence. I'm referring to Western influence, of course. And as you saw in this video, the Sega Sammy site and Yokoyama's own quotes, one of which says a lot. That being the one where he says if he could change something in Yakuza 3, it would be to not have colors of the backpacks for the kids at the Sunshine Orphanage by gender, because according to him, that is the change in the world, and he will continue to accept change. Now to simpletons, this all sounds like nothing to question, because to them, all change is good and we need to get with the times. After all, things like representation is great and acknowledging other walks of life is what we need more of, right? Well, no, because all of these screenshots and direct quotes paints a different picture, one that a lot of people fail to see. Allow me to explain. I don't go out of my way to broadcast this, only when necessary, but I'm gay, and I can't stand pandering, especially from mega corporations. Not only is it built on a lie, but it's also unnecessary. Because if you need to be represented in order to enjoy something, then you don't understand the media you're consuming and don't respect talented creators behind said media. When you have companies like BlackRock and Vanguard enforcing ESG, all of which is public knowledge by the way, and you see companies promote the same far-left ideological propaganda all in unison, then that should let you know that none of this is genuine, but rather it's all to increase their ESG score. There's plenty of LGBT people tired of this shit, some willing to speak out against it and others unfortunately not willing to do so. The same goes for straight people. Plenty of them see through this bullshit while others refuse to speak up but are afraid to. Maybe to some of the people watching, this may apply to you, and I can see why people fear speaking out. The Alphabet Mafia can be pretty hateful and intolerant, especially for a group of people that claim they are never heard, despite all avenues of entertainment bending over backwards for them, to the point where it's a rarity if a game or a movie doesn't have some form of queer pandering. Getting back to Sega, RGG, and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. This diversity and inclusion nonsense will indeed make its way into the Like a Dragon series, and it already has. Keep in mind, companies infested with woke activists will find ways to insert subliminal messages. But seeing how RGG works closely with localizers, RGG is fully aware of what makes it in their games. After all, Yokoyama and crew want to make sure everything is acceptable. As stated before, Yokoyama accepts change and will continue to do so, since the world is changing, even if the world is currently topsy-turvy, especially here in the West. Now, if you're a woke weirdo leftist with pronouns in your bio to make up for a shitty personality, then the current state of society being as confused as you is the change Yokoyama is talking about. I've seen cutscenes from Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth in order to get a better idea of what RGG had to offer. As expected, the visuals looked great, but character motivations came across as weak. And Ichiban seemed to have barely grown as a character compared to Yakuza 7. He acts like a simp, very passive, is more goofy, and seems overly emotional. Funny thing is, in my previous video, people who disagreed with me even stated how lackluster the story is, yet Infinite Wealth is allegedly the best Yakuza game somehow. But I'm sure Like a Dragon 9 will be the best Yakuza game according to the shills. The same shills that think people are afraid of change if they dare criticize any of the recent Like a Dragon games, because to them all change is good or else you're not a real fan. Like a Dragon shills can stand denial as much as they want. You guys can keep denying the evidence. Keep saying we're afraid of change or that Yakuza has always been woke. Anything to fan the flames as much as you can. But it won't change what Sega and RGG are doing. You may not notice it with Infinite Wealth or the next Like a Dragon entry, or next Judgment game, but after each new release, more and more of the subliminal messages become superliminal. And when that happens, you either accept it like a corporate slave, or you pick up your spine and walk away from a compromised series.
Number 9. Here. Number 10. Here. Number 11. Number 11.